Okay, I know we're kind of kicking this off, but welcome to the Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Carlito Santiago, and today we're here to talk about what went down on Monday Night Raw, what went down at Forbidden Door, what went down at Great American Bash, and what went down at Slammiversary. I know that's a lot to take in, but I'm going to cover each and every one of them individually, starting with Monday Night Raw, after Night of Champions. Sorry if you guys can hear the fan or the AC, and then on my screen I got old wrestling playing. So Brock Lesnar returns and interrupts Obafemi. I'm sort of pissed off by this, but uh, the Beast and the Ruler are headed for SummerSlam inside a Hell in a Cell. Lesnar made a shocking appearance at the top of Monday's show, interrupting Obafemi. He cut a promo about not being much of a promo guy, then called the King of the Ring out for calling him names behind his back. Talk shit, get hit, he said before dropping Oba with a low blow, and then an F5. The, of course, inaugural King, or sorry, inaugural, the 2026 King of the Ring winner recovered quickly and called his rival a bitch to his face and issued a challenge for one last match at SummerSlam. Lesnar agreed, but with one condition: Hell in a Cell. The reaction to the announcement was enormous, but there was plenty not to like about the segment, beginning with the portrayal of Femi. Here, he was fresh off of winning King of the Ring tournament, and he stood idly by and let Lesnar cut a promo on him. Then let his guard down enough to catch a low blow. Well, I mean, let's be honest, he just, Obafemi has been on the top of his game. However, I mean, you gotta let Lesnar cut in somehow. You gotta let Lesnar feel fucking relevant to this feud, right? Based on everything we have seen out of Femi to this point, none of that rang true to the character. This is the guy who posed in the King in the Ring, but kept one arm free in the event of a sneak attack. Add to that what feels like an unnecessary match stipulation, and you have a show opening segment that succeeded only in the sense that it felt like a major development in featuring a top star. Now, you would have graded, definitely, whoever wrote this, I'm going to shout him out, Eric Beeston, you would have graded this higher had Roman Reigns came out. I'm going to be honest with you. Now, I'm pretty pissed that Oba fucking dropped the opportunity to face for a world championship. So, he said there would be championship opportunities in the future when he wants one. Okay, he will take it. Okay, well, at least there's that. You know what I mean? But anyway, Rey Mysterio took on All Ego Ethan Page. The rivalry between Page and, everyone continued Monday night when he battled the Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio in singles action. A good match saw the babyface overcome a focused attack on his back, down the heel, and scored the win with a top rope splash. Michael Cole put over the win on commentary as a big one against a red-hot Page. While All Ego is, in fact, red-hot, losing in an inconsequential match to Mysterio feels like a significant step back for a guy who was 3 seconds away from the IC Championship at last month's Saturday Night Main Event. Losing to one of the greatest of all time is hardly a bad thing. The follow-up will be the utmost importance if Page is expected to maintain his main roster credibility, especially after losing his big IC title match to Penta. I mean, being a heel, and they had strong chemistry. But again, being the heel that he is, I mean, he will always be able to bounce back. So, needless to say, there's nothing really wrong there in that sense. Backstage, Dominic and JD broke into Danhausen's laboratory and stole the Knicks jersey. Joe Hendry and the Street Profits had a celebration. Honestly, I can't with this. This just, we had, right after that, we had Hendry versus Theory. Hendry vs. Theory featured some perfect, acceptable wrestling from two talented performers. There was not much to this. No one will confuse it with a great contest, but didn't have much to this. Still, the action was solid, and the crowd was into Hendry. Too positive, so there you go. Liv Morgan sent a message to Io Sky. Just 48 hours after winning the Queen of the Ring tournament by defeating, of course, Liv Morgan, then announcing her plans to challenge for the title at SummerSlam, Io Sky hit the ring to address the WWE faithful. Instead, Morgan interrupted and reminded her of all that she has done to those who have crossed her, naming Finn Balor, Cedric Kier, Rhea Ripley. Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne surrounded Sky, and despite a valiant effort by the babyface, the numbers game proved too much. Morgan downed Sky and trapped her in a half Boston Crab, forcing her to tap out until referees and producers made the save. So if we're leading to this to be Io Sky winning the title, then we need to have people take out Raquel and Roxanne. So, like, we might have to have Rhea Ripley show up, or, you know, somebody of significance to show up and drive these guys out, because I really don't want to have what we had at WrestleMania, have Roxanne and Raquel get involved just to help Liv Morgan retain. That's some bullshit. A quality segment that highlighted Morgan's mean streak and built sympathy for Sky entering a high-profile title match. This was a great way to create doubt that the best wrestler in the women's division can overcome the villain in Metropolis. B+. LA Knight took on Jimmy Uso, and I'm kind of a little bit invested into this story. Just a bit. Not a lot, but a bit. Jimmy Uso got his win back from last week, benefiting in the interference from his brother Jay to roll up LA Knight and secure the victory. The match was solid, if unspectacular, and continued the narrative of LA Knight trying to do things on his own in the midst of a bloodline war. After the match, Solo Sikoa appeared and delivered a Samoan spike to Jimmy, and Knight dropped Jay with a blunt force trauma. He stared down Sikoa, whom he still refuses to side with, to close things out. The idea of bloodline enemies teaming up to fight a common enemy, even if they do not like each other, is nothing new. But it at least makes sense within the confines of the story. So eventually, it'll probably happen. Also, something I want to mention here. Michael Cole and Corey Graves announced that due to his physical confrontation with Gunther Saturday night after Night of Champions, SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis was placed on administrative leave and Adam Pearce to run both brands. Now this too, backstage, Jacob Fatu told the Usos he is on his way to SmackDown to confront Solo. Jay told him he would go with him because Sammy is the new WWE champion. Well, of course, by what happens on SmackDown, it's Jimmy who actually goes with him, not Jay. Or maybe they all go together. Who knows? Maxine Dupree took on Raquel Rodriguez, and I'm not really in the mood for grading this at all because there's just nothing here to give you, you know. What I will give you here is fact, the pre-tape video package that showed off a new side of Lyra Valkyria followed her shocking betrayal of Bayley last Monday night, did more to make me interested in her as a potential contender for either Rodriguez or Dupree. So it looks like Raquel Rodriguez will be getting an opportunity at the Judgment from the Judgment Day, of course, to regain gold. Judgment Day wanting to regain gold by taking out Sol Ruca. You know, if you take out Sol Ruca, you win the championship, right? I mean, that's how Raw works. So yeah, there you go. Chad Gable took on JD McDonough, and this should have been a fun match. You got him going everywhere. I think he's on his way to winning the Intercontinental Championship. If not, on his way to should be facing Trick. Go to SmackDown and face Trick. Danhausen returned to his laboratory to find it trashed and vandalized by the Judgment Day. Liv Morgan rubbed it in and said that this is what the very nice, very evil superstar gets for what he has done to them. In the arena, the factions JD McDonough battled Chad Gable in singles competition. Competitive match. The best of the show to this point saw a Spanish fly attempt from the top rope with scary landing. Gable kicked out at 2, though, in time for Danhausen to distract Dominic. Back in the ring, the heel countered Chaos Theory, but Gable grabbed an ankle lock for the submission win. After the match, Danhausen nearly regained his Knicks jersey, but Raquel laid him out and repossessed it. It sounded good. It looked good. Let's give it a B+. Seth Rollins challenged Roman Reigns. Oh boy, this is a great A+, and you know it's been times coming. Roman Reigns made his way to the ring, flanked by Jacob Fatu for Monday's main event promo segment. Before he could say anything of note, "Burn it down" played over the PA system. Seth frickin' Rollins made his way to the ring. Noting that a win over him is the only thing missing from Roman Reigns' Hall of Fame resume, and that time was running out for them to have that iconic main event. Rollins pitched his former Shield teammate on a World Championship match at SummerSlam. Reigns said, "I need to beat you," before accepting to close out an exceptional promo segment. SummerSlam, we closed the door on the Shield. The OTC was overheard saying as the show came to an end. That was fantastic. Rollins wrapped up over a decade story in one promo, setting the stage for an epic encounter that has not been overdone. It feels fresh and meaningful and should be easily headlined night 2 of that summertime spectacular. Except one of the best matches of either man's career, as long as the run-ins and shenanigans are kept to a minimum or eliminated. So what was the overall grade? Well, graded a B, because it was an interesting show in that it was very much of a sum of parts. Probably the best match on the card was Chad Gable and JD McDonough. The segment, of course, to end the show was brilliant. So I cannot wait to see what they got for next week. All right. So we're going to take our sweet time. We're going to go right over to... What do we want to do? What should we do? What should we do? Let's keep the ball rolling with it. Let's do the Great American Bash. Let's keep the ball rolling with the Great American Bash, ladies and gentlemen. So, wow, they really kicked off the show? So the NXT Championship kicked off the show. Holy shit. Okay. So, Nakuru, a.k.a. Evil, headed outside to grab a steel chair outside, but D'Angelo immediately speared him through the stage. The former Evil fought back by trading the bandaged eye of the NXT champion. He even sent him eye first into the apron with the Enter the Abyss. What the fuck is going on with this shit? Okay. After the picture-in-picture break, Nakuru sent D'Angelo hard into the barricade. The NXT champion fought his way back from a running power bomb and a pair of German suplexes. Nakuru responded with his own German suplex, but D'Angelo rode through, fired up, and hit him with the elevated spinebuster for the win. Despite the build and attempted hype, D'Angelo and Nakuru felt fairly ordinary when it finally went down beyond relying on the silly-looking bandaged eye as an obvious target for the former Evil. A hot open to the match slowed to a basic beatdown sequence as Nakuru took advantage of D'Angelo's vulnerability. They did not build on a dramatic near fall at any point. When the NXT champion fired up and hit his spinebuster, it was almost a shock that the match was over. A rushed build and a promised Nakuru delivering Evil amounted to a fairly standard TV level title defense. It is a shame that NXT was not ready to reveal anything big with Nakuru, at least sell him as a bigger threat. That kind of, falls down a lot, Needless to say, D'Angelo retained the championship, and who knows who's going to defeat him. Zarya took on Tatum Paxley. So, Zarya threw around Paxley early in the contest. The former champion pulled the current champion under the apron, using the opening to repeatedly strike Zarya. Paxley tried to choke out Zarya over the barricade, but the champion powered her way free, landing Paxley hard on the floor. Challenger continued to use her environment to her advantage, including a snap superplex, popping out only to take a spear. The two men on the apron laying in strikes until Paxley reversed an F5 attempt into a sunset flip powerbomb. That's pretty fucking cool. After a tug of war for the Women's North American Championship, Paxley hit a cemetery drive outside of the ring, followed by another in the ring for a wild near fall. I don't really want to go back and forth with this bullshit with having to read everything. This was probably a great match. Don't get me wrong. But Zarya needed to retain it. And this is likely the end of Paxley in NXT. And she could find herself back in the works with Lyra here on Raw, following her bird turning against Bayley. So, yeah, it looks like Paxley and Lyra could team up as a heel tag team group, which would be nice. I'd like that. That'd actually be great. Zarya marked Paxley with what looked to be a kiss goodbye. Shallow Hill took on Tristan Angels. I don't even know these guys, but fucking whatever. These guys had a match. We're just gonna skip through it. The Speed Championship can that can go to waste. Let's talk about this. Dion Lennox versus Shaquan Sugars. Now this is one because these guys were part of Dark State? Right, yeah. Sugars went right after Lennox to start this match, not even removing his jacket until he tossed it into Lennox's face. Lennox fought a weakness in Sugar, attacking the same back that got powerbombed last month through the announce table. Sugar started to fight back, hitting a rude awakening before Osiris Griffin and Cutler James arrived ahead of the PIP break. Lennox caught Sugars off the ropes with the spinebuster for the first near fall of the match. Sugars fought back with a flurry of offense and ended with a flatliner for a near fall of his own. He followed up with a springboard leg drop for another close pin. Lennox responded with a backbreaker on the top rope into a side slam for 2. He tried to end it again unsuccessfully with a strong clothesline. So we're just really running through the match here, huh? Anyway, Sugars lost Lennox on a Razor's Edge setup, but managed to hit a reverse frog splash for the victory. So Sugars won. Great. However, when Sugars got to the finish, it almost felt anticlimactic, since Sugars does not have any established finisher of his own. Both men were in the business of hitting moves, but did not weave into a story that they were presented on Tuesday. There was no hesitation in Sugars, nor was Lennox obviously outmatched at any stage. The post-match attack made sense, because why the fuck not? But made the action feel pointless if the goal was simply for Dark State to end it standing tall. The North American Championship match was up next. Something to look forward to if good. You know, Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights. Now, this was unlike any other match on the card so far, helped by grappling experiences of both men. They were focused entirely on rolling and suplexing. Heights drove the pace and looked like the more impressive competitor in the style. He also continued to sell his growing frustration at failing to keep his friend down. With 2 commercial breaks, this verged on longer than it needed to be, so it overstayed its welcome. Of course, the biggest disappointment was another tease without resolution. Commentary sold that Heights was winless against Bourne going into the contest. Throughout, Heights questioned if he needed to do more to win. But if he never showed that he was willing to actually get underhanded, then remain friendly afterwards. Yeah, this we're going to continue to the main event, which is the Women's Championship, which actually saw a new champion get crowned, and that's, of course, Gray. And I don't got to talk much about it because this match was pretty good. Pretty fucking good. So I would go check it out for yourselves. Honestly, it was not that good. There's only a couple of good matches. So yeah, graded a D+. I'm gonna boost it up and say it's a C at best. But yeah, that's the Great American Bash. I don't want to cover every I don't want to read every aspect of it now. So moving on, let's jump over to Slammiversary. TNA returned to the pay-per-view Sunday for Slammiversary in Boston. I don't know if we have, I don't know if this is, we're gonna skip the pre-show because I don't want to. Also to mention, Eric Young and Mike Santana have left TNA, or released from TNA, so just to point that out. We kick off the show with the Ultimate X for the X Division Championship. We had Fabian Eichner, Mr. Excellence, Amazing Red, shout out to Amazing Red, Leon Slater, KC Navarro, Frankie Kazarian, and the reigning champion, Cedric Alexander. Holy shit. Bro, this is crazy. A high-energy, high-risk match saw big bumps with all involved. A strong performance from Navrio and Kazarian, and Red turned back the clock to 2002. Late in the bout, Slater and Red climbed across the cables and played tug-of-war with the X Division Championship. Just as it looked like the former was about to regain the title, the heel Alexander sprinted into the ring and grabbed the title from him and quite literally stole the victory. After the match, Kazarian expressed his respect and appreciation for Red before throwing to a pre-taped video announcing the influential star's introduction into the TNA Hall of Fame. Nice. That's Amazing Red, guys, getting inducted to the Hall of Fame. I think that's fucking amazing. Also, the show started with the emotional tribute to Joe Doring, who passed away. Rest in peace. But yeah, grade a B, Alexander retained. Elijah took on AJ Francis. Why does this even fucking matter? I have no clue. We're going to skip this, but yeah, If anybody want to walk with Elijah, go ahead. We had the Knockouts Tag Team Championships up next. Demon Bunny, a.k.a. Rosemary and Allie, took on the Excellent Brand. Demon Bunny win the tag team titles. Great. Good. I'm going to skip this too because I just don't want to read much, you know. We had an open challenge. Who was open to it for Mustafa Ali's TNA International Championship? Well, informed during the pre-show that he would be defending his title against two opponents. Mustafa Ali found out only when he got to the ring that his challenges would be former champion Rich Swann and the debuting of the former Intercontinental Champion Uhaa Nation, a.k.a. Apollo Crews. What ensued was a fast-paced, high-energy match that showcased the abilities of all three competitors. Late in the match, Order 4 Special Agent Zero appeared and buried Nation under the steel steps, allowing Ali to focus solely on Swann. The babyface hit the ropes and bounced off right into a backslide from the champion, who scored the win. The best match of the night to this point. So, good job. And I cannot believe that Apollo Crews is now in TNA. That's fucking perfect. I knew he was going to come back at some point. I was hoping it would be in NXT. But, hey, you know what? Great. Great here. TNA's perfect for him. I think that's perfect. A no-surrender match. We saw Eddie Edwards take on, with, of course, his wife, taking on Moose. Oh, my God. I don't know what a no-surrender match is, but, again, maybe there's just no surrender. I'm not going to read much about this either, but, again, to say the least, Moose defeated Edwards. Pretty good storytelling here, but, yeah. Eddie Edwards, and it's funny because Eddie Edwards was favored here in this match. I mean, he's from fucking Massachusetts, too, so respect to Eddie Edwards. We're going to move on to the Knockouts champion, of course. It was Lilani, yeah, versus Zaya Brookside, which, of course, Brookside actually won the title. Well, let's talk about it. Brookside betrayed Lee, then won the Champions Challenge to set this one up and potentially earn the first World Championship of her still young career. Back and forth start to the match escalated when Lee uncorked a kick on the arena floor that connected with the ring post, injuring her left leg, taking away one of the greatest weapons. Lee battled back into the match, unloading a barrage of palm strikes and a series of kicks, but the effects of her leg injury was apparent. Brookside removed a turnbuckle cover and moments later took advantage of it, knocking Lee off the top rope, her head bouncing off the exposed steel. Dark Side followed, and the second generation star earned the top prize in the women's division. Second generation? Wait. What do you mean, second generation? I might be confused. What do you mean she's a second generation? Hold on. Who is her father? Wait, yeah, what do you mean by second generation? Zaya Brookside is a second generation performer. She's the daughter of British wrestling veteran and current WWE trainer Robbie Brookside. Yeah, but he's a trainer. He's not even a fucking wrestler. What? Okay, what does that matter? Bullshit. Bullshit. Anyway, I call bullshit on that second generation shit. Okay, sure, whatever. Let's just let it be. We had a tag team ladder match. It was the Righteous taking on the System versus the Hardys. And guys, I don't even have to fucking say anything. You know the Hardys were gonna do it. You know the Hardys were gonna do it. You were gonna let me down. Graded an A because they're fucking great. They ain't gonna let me down. Then we got to our championship match. Mike Santana versus Nick Nemeth. And I ain't gotta talk about this because Nick Nemeth wins the title. And Santana can move over to WWE, which I'm excited to see. I hope he brings that Puerto Rican energy that we all been wanting to see. So, yeah, let's bring him over to WWE. Overall grade, B+. Slammiversary was one of the biggest shows of the year for TNA, despite the backstage turmoil with creative changes and talent leaving. Men and women on the show delivered a damn fine performance, and I agree with that. So, graded B+, and sticking with that. I kind of want to buy these quick, so. Next up will be the Forbidden Door. I wrote Forbidden wrong. Give me a moment. Okay. Oh, damn. Okay. Again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to read through. There's a couple of shit. Only the ones that are important. So, fuck the buy-in. We always do the buy-in. So, yeah. Okay. They just the buy-in. All right. So, we got a triple tag match. The Young Bucks, Sky Team, and who the fuck was this? Shingo. I don't even know these fucking names. Jesus Christ. Anyway, the Young Bucks won. All right. Kenny Omega took on Zack Sabre Jr. Oh, I gotta read this. In their first match since 2018, Kenny O'Doofenshmirtz and Zack Sabre Jr. proved why they are amongst each other's finest opponents, wrestling a brilliant match in front of a red-hot audience in San Jose, California. A hard-hitting, unflinchingly physical match. They battered each other with strikes. Sabre utilized joint manipulation and unrivaled techniques to attempt to neutralize Omega, while the best bout machine relied on snapdragon suplexes, V-triggers, and ultimately the one-winged angel, which finally defeated the best technician in the business. So, yeah, Omega fucking won, guys. It's no surprise there. We saw Bandito take on Jon Moxley for the AEW Continental Championship, even though they're saying international. They don't even know what fucking belts there is. Jon Moxley had an AEW pay-per-view match. Someone bled. Of course, we're skipping this. Fuck that. B+, referee stoppage. Yeah, fuck you. Next, for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship, Shatola no, I've heard of him. Takes on Pac. The original Death Rider, New Japan's Shota Anumu, battled a current one in the Bastard Pac, with the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship on the line. Another strong match in a string of them tonight. Umunu and Pac employed a slower build than others on the show, but when it hits its strides and the action intensified, it picked up expeditionally. Pac put Uno through hell, throwing everything he had at him. He tossed him from the ring, through a table on the arena floor, and locked him in a brutalizer. Umunu fought through all of it, improved his toughness and resilience, and ultimately pulled off the victory. A tense stare down with Jon Moxley after the match gave way to a surprise appearance from Hiroshi Tanahashi, basically Japan's John Cena. Never get enough of that shit. So, good. B. Next. We are so skipping this shit. What the fuck are these names, dude? Oh my god. All right. Anyway, whoever she is, the women's division sucks, guys. All right. Copeland and Cage took on the Dogs, and yeah, Switchblade Jay White is back. The former IWGP Heavyweight Champion made his long-awaited return in the closing moments of the World Tag Team title match, aiding Copeland and Cage in defeating David Finlay and Clark Connors and retaining their gold. The shocking twist occurred at the end of a fantastic tag team match in which the Dogs had the champions reeling, proving themselves capable of hanging with it all-timers. At points in the contest, they successfully isolated their opponents and appeared to have a legitimate chance of capturing gold, even more so after the official took a slip and Finlay obtained his family's trademark, Shillelagh. The return of the Bang Bang Gang, I don't even want to say that, and long-awaited comeback for Jay White put an exclamation point on the match and really needed some more heavy hitters. So I'm glad Jay White's back as a babyface. Can't wait to see what they do with him. Don't fuck it up, AEW. B+. We're skipping these tournaments because fuck this shit, except for one. Good, they saved it for last. We had our Team Briscoe versus Team MJF. And this was pretty good. Team Briscoe won, which now gives way to Briscoe having a championship match against MJF, which had already happened, but needless to say. Graded an A, and you knew they had a lot of fun spots here in this match. And the circled cage, guys. The circled cage. I thought the circular cage was fucking brilliant. That was perfect. A circular fucking steel cage. How the fuck can you get any better than that? That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, we move on to our main event, which was Swerve Strickland, Will Ospreay. We knew Will Ospreay was winning, but this was fantastic. I love how they put this in the fucking ending of the show. This was great. For our main event, they give us the two people in the tournament, and the challenger will go after the AEW World Champion. It will be Will Ospreay. It will be MJF. I cannot wait for it. So Ospreay defeated Strickland, and so we get an A+ for the show. AEW on pay-per-view is sure thing at this point. No promotion in professional wrestling makes their shows feel more important, with stars delivering the finest performance and surprise or two elevating the significance of the event. That did not change for Forbidden Door. Compared to WWE pay-per-views, yeah, AEW knocks them out the fucking park. Even though AEW knocks WWE in tag team division and mid-card, as where WWE beats them in main card and fucking women's division, because that's all they're focusing on. Needless to say, AEW has been putting on great performances, so I can't wait for their next event, which is All In. Am I correct on that? Is it right? All In? All In Wembley. Yes. The end of August. So, can't wait for that end of August to happen. So, the final grade of this was an A, and I hope you guys liked it. Let me know what your thoughts are from Slammiversary, Great American Bash, Raw, and of course, Forbidden Door. I'm sorry I didn't cover all of it. I wanted to, it all happened at one Slammiversary, TNA, TNA Slammiversary, basically AEW's Forbidden Door, and NXT Great American Bash, and then Raw. I was like, let me just save this for an entire fucking video. So no Raw review. I saved you guys the trouble of having it all put into one video. I will not be doing the SmackDown summary Sunday or Saturday. I will give you the SmackDown summary on Sunday, because we already know, 4th of July. Have a great rest of your weekend. I will see you guys on Sunday for the SmackDown summary, and then I will be back Tuesday to give you the Raw review. Promise. Give you the Raw review on Tuesday. Until then, I will see you guys on Sunday. Enjoy your weekend, guys. Peace.